New York City is facing a $5 million lawsuit. Not for their stop and frisk policies, not for police brutality, not for anything that seems to make sense. They're facing a $5 million lawsuit because Al Sharpton's daughter, Dominique, sprained her ankle on a sidewalk. She claims that she has been severely injured, bruised, and wounded. She says she still suffers physical pain and bodily injuries from the sprain. Now, one day after this lawsuit was filed, she did post a really interesting picture on Instagram. Let's take a look at it. So there she is. Apparently she was hiking. She said, "We hiked up the mountain, over the clouds, into the sunrise. One of the most beautiful sights ever. And yes, I almost died getting up there, LOL." So she was in Bali, she was on vacation, and obviously she participated in some strenuous activity. It's fascinating that she posted this on her Instagram page a day after she filed a lawsuit claiming that the city owed her $5 million for the pain that she suffered from her sprained ankle. Now, she's saying that the $5 million makes sense because her injury has led to loss of quality of life, future pain and suffering, future medical bills, and future diminution? Anyway, and future loss of income. All right, so it's interesting that she says that she's in pain today because you look at those images and you realize that she's not really in as much pain as she thinks. If you're walking down the sidewalk and you come across an uneven area and you injure yourself as a result of that, maybe the city should be held liable for that. But you can't make claims like this and then post the kind of pictures that you just posted on social media and claim that the city owes you $5 million because you're going to be suffering so much in the future. Drew, make your point.
I suffer just as much with this story than I do with her father, Mr. Sharpton. So it's kind of like, I mean, I think she thinks that we're, I don't know, he thinks we're stupid. I don't know, I don't get it. I just get confused when you see the photos of this girl in the mountains hiking and then has some post-traumatic sprained ankle. And I'm like, it's just confusing and I'm frustrated and I mean, that's basically my point. I'm frustrated with it.
I mean, for me, it's like, number one, like that's like the idea when you call in sick from work and then you go out that night and post an Instagram picture, like that's just stupid. You don't do that. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be sick, play sick. But if she does win this case, you better believe there's gonna be a bunch of New Yorkers just throwing themselves on the ground when they're walking around the streets because that's how pathetic this is. Like I understand, like you said, maybe if there's a serious injury, you maybe will file a lawsuit, to try and cover the medical bills.
Yeah.
But not to get $5 million.
Yeah, so let me give you an example. In Los Angeles, there are some pretty bad potholes on main streets, right? So let's say you're riding your bike and you don't expect a pothole. You could very easily like fall off your bike as soon as the tire hits that pothole. I've seen it happen before.
I've seen them, especially the sidewalks too, when the trees grow and make the sidewalks uneven. I've seen somebody take a spill, like, no, I'm like, okay, you could definitely sue.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So the city should be liable for things like that. But of course, in this case, maybe the city should be liable, but you can't claim to be in that much pain and then have these types of pictures on your social media. I mean, it doesn't really prove your point. Anyway, here's the personal question for the story. Would you rather lose your sight or your hearing?
You first.
Me first?
You first.
Oh.
Let's go.
Well, I guess I would have to definitely lose my hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, you know, I can't do anything without seeing. I mean, it's a lot tougher. So my choice is hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I go along with that. I mean, obviously in an ideal world, you don't want to have to choose between both, but when you see like things that are so beautiful in the world, and I use like when you use your eyes for basically everything and appreciating such things as like I watch soccer every day, appreciating that, like it just wouldn't be the same experience without being able to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a really difficult one because I think about what I consider important in my life. So, have you guys ever heard about the five types of love, like 5 love languages? Okay, so like the 2 that I relate most to is words of affirmation and then physical touch, right? Yeah. And so hearing words of affirmation helped me live my life. So not being able to hear those things freaks me out. But if you can see, maybe they can write it down on a piece of paper. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna agree with them and say I'll keep my vision and not my hearing. But it's a terrible situation. Yeah. It's hard to have to decide something like that. Anyway, guys, tell us what what you think. Answer the question. I want to hear your perspective on it. And also, what do you think about this lawsuit? Do you think Al Sharpton's daughter deserves any money at all, no money, or maybe the whole settlement of $5 million? Comment in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon.